banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
Logano, Harvick honored in top 75. I'm Susie Armstrong. The story next on NASCAR Today.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Remember how lucky we are to get to do this every week?
You remember the racing.
Allison looks for another way around.
The action.
This is the greatest day of my life.
The calls.
He did it! 3 in a row! Jimmy Johnson!
The community. But when we look back, we also need to remember the men and women who serve this country and all they do to keep us safe and free. NASCAR salutes, together with Coca-Cola at Darlington, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick were added to NASCAR's top 75 drivers list this week for the sport's Diamond Jubilee. Two-time and defending NASCAR Cup Series champion Logano started his Cup career at just 18 years old and became the youngest winner in series history at 19. In 2015, the Connecticut native bagged the sport's biggest prize, winning the Daytona 500. Harvick, the 2014 series champion, boasts a remarkable resume, including the 2007 Daytona 500, 2 Coca-Cola 600, and dual Southern 500 victories. The California native is retiring at the end of the season with, as of now, 60 victories to his credit. I'm Susie Armstrong. This is NASCAR Today on the Motor Racing Network.
WVLQ Port St. John, Paulette Hesse, ESPN Northwest Florida. Welcome to the house. It's time for the Afternoon Underdogs.
It's happening.
Wow.
It's on right now.
Opinionated and unfiltered. The hot takes, the rants, and the sports talk you crave.
Give it to me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are live. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 in the Forgotten Coast, and currently we are off the air on 102.1, but the way that you circumvent that is with streaming the app. Yeah, we had a situation where the tower fell down. I don't know if you've checked out ESPN Northwest Florida's page, but I guess someone ran into the guy wire, and that thing came crumbling down like London bridges.
Was that today?
Yes.
Because I lost power for a while this morning, so I'm wondering if that's...
yeah, I think that is not a coincidence.
Good.
Rather. So anyways,
Good for him.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes, along with Kyle, Aaron Wright, and Drew Gorman. We're out here, Dave and Buster's. It's Wednesday. Drew, what's going on Wednesdays out here at Dave and Buster's?
They've got good old half-priced games and half-priced...
spread it out so I can hit a what in between each one.
Half-price games.
What?
Along with half-price drinks.
What?
Cocktails.
Cocktails, drinks, yeah.
Cocktails, drinks, same, not same difference, but yeah, it's there.
Absolutely. I'm David Hayes, Kyle Wright, Drew Gorman. It's a great show today. No guest on with us, but if you'd like to come hang out, get on the microphone. We've got plenty of room for you today. We're going to be getting into our go-to-goats. It's been, 4 weeks since we first got back into it. We're going to go behind the scenes and finish those brackets up. We're rather close to actually, getting it done to the point of, or getting the brackets done to the point of getting it up there for voting on the page that we utilize. And, man, summer is setting in, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say I would say that, look for the possibility of this being the last one on the patio for a little while.
Well, when I pulled up, I've been working outside all day, so when I pulled up, I was looking looking through the circle, and I was like, man, I hope they're inside. I hope I can't see them. Nope, I come around the corner and both of y'all are just sitting there waving at me.
Just waving, man. And yeah, it's always a great time out here at Dave & Buster's. And I think the thing that you got to come take advantage of is the half price games. I mean, there's so many great games in there. And then for you to get them at half price, you can try out so many more different activities, if you will, like the Step Brothers. So we've got the Go to Goats conversation. That'll be happening at 4:20 until we're done with it. I think I'm even going to open up trivia for today and have the first text answer that we get be the winner, because, man, I did a lot of research over the weekend and found a lot of really cool trivia questions, or actually not even found a lot, came up with a lot of trivia questions. So like yesterday with the 0-13, or which was the first college football team to go 0-13, that was the 2003 Army football team. We got Ryan with the winner there. Then at 5 o'clock, as always on Wednesdays, we're going to play a little Would You Rather, some start bench cut.
Favorite segment.
Absolutely.
Favorite segment of the week.
Absolutely. So some Wednesday Would You Rather. 5:20, we're going to go into some start bench cut. I got a couple of questions there. 5:40, we're going to get into our Bar Burritos local update, and that is going to be a lot of fun. And then also, at some point in time during the show, I had texted Kyle last night, and I was just thinking of, if all of the NFL players were dispersed to the XFL and the USFL.
And the NFL was no mas?
No, the NFL got the XFL and the USFL players.
Oh.
Which league would perform the best? Even if you combine the XFL and the USFL at that point, because you got all of the players, and you would think this generation, our youngest generation of football fans are a lot like NBA fans in the fact that they kind of follow players more so than what they follow teams. But guys from our generation and before that, they follow teams more so than players. So I do wonder how people would think about that. Because of course, like, I'm not going to give up on the Tennessee Titans, but yeah, I think you bring, like we had mentioned, even if you bring in Aaron Rodgers to the USFL or the XFL, it's going to gain traction because you got that one big name. Like, one of the biggest names in the XFL is A.J. McCarron, and that's not a name that's going to be your flagship player. And he played great football, and he was a great backup quarterback in the league, and I would be very surprised if he's not a backup again in the NFL this year. But I would love to dive into that conversation if we have some time. But first, let's start off with some of the NFL scheduling, which I guess it wouldn't be not leaked necessarily, because the NFL put them out. The entirety of the schedule is going to be out tomorrow. So, I mean, the NFL, this is one of the reasons why the question came up. The NFL just does such a good job of branding things.
Yeah.
They do a good job of all of their marketing that it would be interesting to see how it played out. But let's talk about some of the games that the NFL's already dropped in week 1. You're going to have the Falcons at the Jaguars, and that's going to be over there in London, I do believe. That's going to be 8:30 on October 1st, I believe. So October 1st, 8:30 in the morning, you're going to get the Falcons and the Jaguars. Is that a game? Obviously, one of the biggest. Why do we wake up for 8:30 games? Why do you wake up for an 8:30 game? Fantasy football, which is another one of those driving factors that kind of goes back to the conversation that we will try to get into today. So you got the Falcons and the Jaguars. You've got the Jaguars and the Bills. So the Jaguars are just going to be chilling over there in London for back-to-back weeks there. And I feel like almost every AFC South team is going to be playing an international game. Now, this one I think is one that is going to be worth it to wake up for, even if you don't have any players in the fantasy world starting in this game. But the Ravens at the Titans, October 15th. Now, this is going to be 4 weeks, 5, 6, 7 weeks into the season at that point. So, it might be one of those ones, not really worth it to tune in anymore unless you've got a fantasy player, because the Titans, might have had high hopes to go into the season if you're a Titans fan, but then the rest of the NFL world might possibly see, hey, the Titans are just going to be a dud this year. We'll see how all of that plays out. I'm not making any statements on what's going to happen at with the Titans this year, just hypothetically speaking. This one's going to be fun, though. Dolphins and the Chiefs, kind of did the Dolphins play the Chiefs last year, right? No, they didn't play. But this is the game I'm thinking of. Tyreek is going to be making his debut at Arrowhead as not a Kansas City Chiefs. So that's going to be interesting.
But this game is in Frankfurt, Germany, and this is why Chiefs fans are upset, because this was supposed to be Tyreek's big homecoming game, if you will, like coming back to KC for the first time, or even playing KC for the first time, and they put this game in Frankfurt, which I think is good for ratings, because I guarantee you, out of all the games that they've had in London and everything so far, barring any major injuries, like if it's not Mike White versus Patrick Mahomes at this point, then this is going to be the most watched.
It's a primetime matchup.
It is. This is a game that could easily be on Monday night, Sunday night football, and would be extremely watched then. And now it's going to be on a Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. for us. So I expect this to be the highest viewed game so far if everybody's healthy.
Yeah, that's going to be a Germany game. Colts at Patriots. That one could be interesting. I mean, face value, I don't know how I feel about it, but also I think, a lot of people are very excited to see how Anthony Richardson is going to play out for the Indianapolis Colts. I think it was you who posted on Facebook, the Titans and the Colts could be playing on a Thursday night football game, and you're going to have, I don't know the exact stats, but basically terrible quarterback play. It'll look like
it was like 10 of 31, 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson versus Will Levis.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson versus Will Levis. Will Levis is going to be wearing the number 8 for the Tennessee Titans. But I do find that it would remind me of, who was it that the Broncos played? Was it the Broncos and the Giants early in the season on a Thursday night football game where we were calling a Mosley football game, right? And by the end of the Mosley game, we were like, man, well, we really didn't miss anything at all here on NFL Thursday night football. So that game, the Titans and Colts, when they do play, could bring shades of Russell Wilson and the Broncos. So some of the other games there, that's both of the games for Frankfurt, Germany there. And then also we've got our first Black Friday game, which is going to be the Jets and the Dolphins. I mean, I think as many AFC East games as you can get into the limelight, which we thought the same last year about the AFC West, and some of those games did not live up to what the hype was. But I mean, Jets Dolphins, as long as Tua is healthy and Aaron Rodgers is healthy, man, that's going to be one of those games that you got to be locked in for. Are you excited about a Black Friday game? I mean, we normally get. What's normally on Black Friday? You get some of the rivalry games because that's just ahead of
Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's normally on. They did it once on Black Friday, and they might have done it other times, but it's normally on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, like usually there's no like FSU Florida last year was on Black Friday, and they said that was the first primetime ESPN game on Black Friday in a very long time. So. Yeah. So that was cool. I mean, once again, my team with that first big primetime Black Friday game in a long time was for college football last year, and now my team, the Dolphins, are going to be on prime time for Black Friday this year. And I don't know, man. I just don't like. Maybe a lot of people do take that Friday off still, just because Thursday, Friday, you go eat a pile of a pound and a half of food on Thursday. You don't want to go back to work Friday. Do you take Friday off after Thanksgiving?
I go to my parents back in Nashville, so yes.
So yeah, but a lot of people do work that, but I don't know. I feel like a 3 o'clock start time is kind of rough.
Yeah.
Because there are still shopping deals going on. Maybe this game should be later at night, but it's going to be cool regardless. I'll watch it. I mean,
yeah, definitely going to be tuned into that. Especially, I mean, I think with that Black Friday game, you had to come with some pressure. You had to come with some heat, right? You couldn't just schedule anyone there. Like a Titans-Colts game on Black Friday, what is that going to do for you? Whereas the Jets-Dolphins, or even if they threw the Dolphins-Chiefs right there, just you got to have 2 premier teams or teams with great rosters for that game to get the eyeballs on it. But then again, I mean, what have we noticed about the NFL? It goes back to how great they are at marketing. People are going to tune in regardless, man.
You know what I really like about the schedule this year is that every game is a free agent, and that's the way Adam Schefter put it in his post. I love that because now you're going to have more flexibility to shift the game to Sunday Night Football a week or 2 out, and you're not going to have to sit through that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game on Sunday night. Like nobody wants to watch. Nobody wanted to watch Pickett versus Huntley last year. We just don't want to do that. So if you've got that Bengals Chiefs matchup, that is going to be primetime this year. But I'm just using that for an example where. You
better
shift,
matchup.
You shift that,
it.
Or your Bengals Chargers, if you will. You shift that, man. It would. I'm excited to see how that really plays out this year.
But what about for Thursday night games? I know that we want to see the best games that we can each and every night, and Thursday is a primetime slot. But do we really want to put our best games on Thursday? Because that kind of gives you nothing to look forward to for the rest of the week. So yeah,
And
I'm sorry. It's hard to order.
yeah, no doubt.
More refills, please. Thank you so much, sweetie.
Something that I really like, and it's a testament to why the NFL is king, is we're in the middle of May, sitting here talking about the NFL, talking about how everything's playing out, and like just with they always have a way of being in the forefront of all of our minds, whether we're football fans or not. We're sitting there just talking about them from the standpoint of they're no matter what, they always have a way of getting into the mainstream media.
Yeah, 100%. They do a fantastic job of that as well. 76ers last night taking a 3-2 lead in the series behind some great play, some great team play from the Sixers last night. They take down the Boston Celtics 115-103. Do you believe the Boston Celtics can come back in this series? What do you think, Drew?
It's tough for me. The way that they looked last night, it's just tough to see them. You thought that they were going to have a big game coming in the way that the previous game had ended, but they just came out with no fight. Now, I've heard it all day on radio. Everybody, half the people are saying it's on the coach, half the people are saying it's on the players. Either way, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if your team doesn't show up, it's on everybody. So I just don't know if I see them being able to make it back.
This is a no-brainer, right, for the Philly side, but I will say that the winner of Game 6 wins the series. Like, I mean, obviously no-brainer on the Philly side. Like, if Philly wins, like, they obviously are automatically moving on. But I think that if Boston is able to go into Philly and sneak out a Game 6 win, then there's no chance. Like, you don't win Game 7 in Boston, man. It just doesn't. It's not something that is extremely doable.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Again, man, and we're going to get into it in Would You Rather about who you want the NBA Finals to be or who you want to see in the NBA Finals. I don't know if I've said, I think I have said it on the air, but I want to see Philly get there and I want to see Philly lose, man. Like, no, seriously, though, man, I mean, look, they lost the Super Bowl. They lost the World Series. They lost the MLS Cup. Or the MLS Final, whatever it's called.
Sorry, Caveman Rick.
Well, you know, it is what, I mean, shoot, would you rather your team not be there at all or be there and lose? You know what I mean? Like, for me, hey, what is it? It signals to greater things, especially when you think about the Phillies. What did they do? All right, now that it hasn't started out great for them this year, but it started out way worse for them last year. They get hot, then they find their way all the way into the World Series. And guess what? Bryce Harper's back, so they're going to get better. There's no doubt about that. You add in Trey Turner. So they've gotten better, and they were in the World Series last year, which doesn't guarantee just because you make your roster better,
right,
does not mean that you click in the same way. You look at the Eagles; they did lose some key pieces on the defensive side of the ball, but then they come back with the draft, and now they're the Philadelphia Bulldogs, and you know, so you like their chances of getting back to or at least a deep playoff run for the Philadelphia Eagles. So here with the Sixers, just because you don't get the job done and you don't win the finals, which all of this is yet to be written, but it's still a sign of good things to come sometimes.
But do you have that same mentality if every single one of your teams have done it now? Right? Like,
it's the second best sports town for the 2022-2023 season.
No, I get it. So, but think about it from like a fan perspective. And obviously, Caveman Rick's a fan of all these teams. So, I know he loves to correct me if I'm wrong. So, it should be it should be perfect for him. I'm sure he's excited about this opportunity. But so think about. I don't know, man. Like, putting myself in that position. Obviously, I'm not in that position because my teams have been buns over the years. But like, if Tampa Bay made the Stanley Cup and lost, which they did last year, and then the Heat made the finals and lost, and then Florida State made the national. No, let's take out college. The Dolphins made the Super Bowl and lost, and now I'm faced with an opportunity where like the Reds getting to the world. Like, this is why this conversation is
the Reds getting to the playoffs would be like a World Series.
Like they'd probably have a parade for a playoff appearance. At this point.
And that's so sad for such a storied MLB franchise as well.
A couple years.
At what point do you think your city is just cursed?
That's where I'm going with this. Like, at a certain point, like, I don't want to get there and lose anymore. I feel like I'd almost just rather not have that heartbreak again.
It just get the monkey off the back, either not go or win it.
I'm trying. So, all right, with the Tennessee Titans, heartbreak there for me in 2000 against the Rams, right? But I was, very young, so actually the heartbreak kind of hits a little bit harder at that point, too. And then, never got back to the big game either. So there is that as well. With the Lightning, that one didn't hurt, man, because now 2015, when they lost to the Blackhawks, that one kind of stung. But after you win 2 and then you lose a third, of course you would love to three-peat, but it's like, hey, man, like first off, the Colorado Avalanche played their tails off throughout the entire season, and they were just the better team in that series.
And we really we put up a better fight than you and I both thought that we would in that series, too. So it was... without Braden Point healthy, it was a miracle to even get it to 6.
Absolutely. Yeah, last night, man, between the NHL and the NBA playoffs, for me, now, like we had Gator Jamie comment on the status that I put. So where I'm getting at is that, to me, last night, the playoff games were boring. Just because, you go to the hockey, right? You go to the Hurricanes and the Devils. After that second period, really, I was giving Ryan Mulvey updates yesterday, and I just stopped doing it because it was like, man, I don't want to keep on ticking them off. You know what I mean? Because he was coaching his daughter's volleyball team, so he was just like, hey, if you're watching, shoot me some updates or whatever. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna stop giving you updates because they've just scored 3 goals back to back to back to back, and my thumbs are getting tired right now. Then you got Seattle who kind of got mollywopped by Dallas later in the evening. The Nuggets, ever since or after halftime, they just took off and and took care of the Suns, and the 76ers were pretty much spanking the Celtics the entire game, and the game was a lot. It was a bigger deficit or a bigger win for the Sixers than a 12-point win at the final.
Yeah, it was Boston hit a 3 to only be down by 12 with about 4 minutes left, and the place was going nuts, and you were like, okay, here they come, just like Game 5, where it looked like Philly was trying to give that one away. But even then, it was like 12 was the closest they were gonna get, man, and they were right back up by like 16, and it's good to see like a little bit of an emergence of James Harden again. Like seeing James, because the one thing that James Harden has been, well, not the one thing, but one of the biggest things that James Harden has had like pressed on him his whole career is, all right, dude, what are you doing in the playoffs? Nothing. Yeah. And now it's like, it's good to see him finally, like, he's accepted his role, and because he's a player that it's hard not to like.
And it's so wild, too, because, you think of the 76ers and you automatically think that it goes through Joel Embiid, whereas in all reality, the 76ers right now are kind of going with the same flow of what how James Harden goes, that's how the Sixers go. So I do find that interesting. But anytime that you got Embiid playing a big game, Tyrese Maxey, and then Harden can come in and just, play that playmaker type position. As long as he puts up 20, you got a good feeling that the 76ers are going to come away with the win. And then also Colin Cowherd today talking about, a trade that the Warriors and Celtics could make between themselves with taking Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole and sending them over to Boston for Malcolm Brogdon and for Jaylen Brown, because I think, is Boston? I don't believe this necessarily, even though I love the hypothetical trade, but I don't know if they're in that big of a conundrum because they don't know who their true one is between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
I just I think that maybe the problem that Boston fans are having is that they either play great together at the same time or that they play terrible together at the same time. Like, there's not one where, like, where the Warriors in certain situations, like Curry has a bad game, but Klay Thompson would step up for so many years, and now I think Klay's best years are behind him, unfortunately. But it was like that.
Injury did that to him, but
and it
sucks.
When you have 1A and 1B, but they're not really picking each other up or like getting supporting each other like that, then maybe this trade does make sense, because Coward was also bringing up the stats of Jordan Poole. Like, when Curry's out, averages almost 27 points per game,
but when he's in,
and this dude got knocked out by a teammate this year, so he's obviously probably mentally checked out, dude. Like,
that is a good point. That is a good point. But also, and again, like you said, the whole situation with Draymond Green that happened at the beginning of the season. But we go to last year's playoff, and Steph Curry was there. You know what I mean? Klay Thompson was there. But Jordan Poole was on fire, and it's just been wild to see that kind of disappearing act from Jordan Poole this year. And you do got to wonder how much of a factor, because I would think myself, by now, that bridge is built back up in a sense. As far as team, like Raekwon Jones said yesterday on the show, you're not going to be friends with all of your teammates, but you are going to try to find those commonalities, that common ground, that at the very least you guys can respect each other. Because if the whole team, and this goes to rec league softball, to youth league sports, I don't care who the worst player on the team is, if they're not buying in, they can be just as big of a distraction as the top player on your team checking out. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick time out, and when we return, it's going to be time to get back into the GOAT of GOATs conversation, a little behind-the-scenes action here with the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
If the Celtics lose this series, can you take a big swing? But I mean, Jason Tatum's just not an alpha. He's great, not an alpha. Jaylen Brown's got a one mentality in a two game. Marcus Smart's limited in aging. Robert Williams, cross your fingers on his health. Al Horford's old.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Some sun the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour and look for it to be 83. Tonight, there will be partly cloudy skies with the temperature reaching 72. Partly cloudy much of the day, but with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 81. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
You know the break room for the best pool tables in Bay County. But did you know they now serve delicious food? Check out the break room's daily lunch and dinner specials like spaghetti and meatballs, meatloaf with mashed potatoes, air-fried chicken, and more. Plus the best burgers, hot dogs, and you gotta try the Sammy of the day. The break room on Panama City Beach at the corner of Joan Avenue and North Lagoon. For more information, check them out on Facebook.
Chef Ross here. We're open daily at 11 at the break room.
The 2023 season of Atlanta Braves baseball is on, and this squad is fired up to make a run at a sixth straight division crown.
High fly, deep to left, forget about it for Austin Riley. A blast to left.
Tonight, the interleague battles continue from Truist Park in Atlanta as the Braves take on the Boston Red Sox for a quick two-game set.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290.
I'm sure that most of you have used a dial telephone before.
The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Dave and Buster's, and you're riding with the Afternoon Underdog. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Again, out here at Dave and Buster's, man, we've got happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. That's half-price cocktails. We've got half-price games all day on Wednesday.
Dude, can I mention that Drew just got these this double pepperoni flatbread for us?
Yeah.
And this thing is, like, really good.
You say for us, and the pizza's almost gone.
Well, here, dude. I'm gonna no. You need to try some of this for real though before it's gone. Next commercial break, grab you a slice because this tastes like a pizza.
I miss having the headset on.
Yeah,
because it makes me feel like I'm calling plays. But it's days like this where I'm like, I got food in me. All I got to do is lean a certain way, and I'm out of the mic. I can chomp down,
I've
baby.
been sitting here staring at this one specific jalapeno that's like covered in cheese right here, and I'm like, I meant to do it during the break, but then I wanted to try the flatbread, and then we started talking about softball, and everything's so good here, and you don't expect that out of a big chain like this.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're on a long streak now. We've been doing this since, I think, March 30th, and every single time that we're out here on Wednesdays, we've gotten a plate of nachos.
Yep.
They're that good.
And
I mean, they
pretzel
got
dogs.
the chicken. Oh, the pretzel dogs, yeah. And I think was Miles the first one to order the pretzel dogs?
Yep.
It was Amanda.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda got the pretzel dogs and the double flatbread pizza, and she was like, "These are my two favorite things. You guys got to try it."
Amanda spoils us.
Yeah, she does. Let me tell you about these nachos, though. Like, I got a tooth pulled, came and did the show, and was eating the nachos in the same day because they're so darn good that I just couldn't not eat them. Oh,
and then you come in with the garlic parmesan boneless wings. Big shout out to Marquita too for taking care of us today. Thank you so much. Yeah, she is absolutely awesome. Dave and Buster's, y'all get out here and ask for Marquita to be your server. She's over there in the sports lounge today. Make sure you take care of your servers wherever it is that you go. All right. So
crunch.
Dude, all right. So Kyle just took a bite of a carrot, and that reminds me today I saw a little Facebook reel of a kid in a lunchroom, and he took a Ziploc bag that had a little bit of air in it, and he takes the carrot and he puts it in the corner of the Ziploc bag and then hits the Ziploc bag, and it's a carrot launcher. I'm like, oh, man, could you imagine the trouble that we would have gotten into back in the day, the trouble that we would get in today if we're in a public setting and someone gives us a Ziploc bag and we've got some baby carrots in there.
I can go get some.
No. Yeah, it's nice and hot out here, isn't it? That's you. Yeah, Steven Seifert had texted in earlier when we opened up the show, and he says, we're listening while you guys are glistening. And I think it's
exactly
perfect. I thought the word is glisten.
Yeah, for real. I think it's more drenching.
You're riding while we're dying.
Drenching. Yeah, you're riding while we're dying.
Woo,
This is tough. Like, we're probably inside next week, Amanda.
I love Florida.
Come on. Put on your Speedo. Man.
Okay, if you guys don't care, we don't care. Not only do we have faces for radio, we have bodies for radio.
We put like plastic around the equipment, get like one of those splash pads.
Yeah.
It's a great thing we don't have a camera out here because Kyle in a Speedo. Good Lord.
I want to get one of those little blue kiddie pools and just keep my feet in there the whole time. Might just lay down in it.
Right, like that's the way.
There you go, man. Or maybe we can get a sprinkler system installed
up here. We actually are working on misters.
Well, there you go.
Next week's bring your own pool.
BYOP. Amanda Muller's with us. She is the assistant general manager out here at Dave & Buster's in Pier Park. All right, let's get into our Go-to-Goats conversation. Where are we at? Actually, since it's been so long, preface how this all came about, and then we'll get into where we're at with it while I scarf down some of your wings.
You're a smart man.
Ooh,
so the initial Tom Brady retirement, part one, we started talking about, like, where does Tom Brady rank among the best of all time in every sport, right? And so myself, Drew Gorman, and Nick Gurley on our old show, we took a whole bunch of names. And you're going to eat this pizza, dude. I'm tired of you stiff-arming. Don't look at me like that.
I got on to Drew last week for eating in the microphone. I'm not gonna be hypocritical.
I'm talking. I can drag it out while you tear that pizza apart, bro.
I'm good, man.
This is how we're not picking each other up, Dave, and you're killing me. I love you. And then Drew's answering the phone.
Oh, my goodness.
This is terrible.
What a consummate professional Drew is.
Okay, so anyway, we took like 70 names of the best sports athletes of all time. And we made.
I got water for days.
I need one of those
absolutely.
for sure.
Thank you so much, Marquita.
You're the best.
Oh no, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Yeah,
she's absolutely incredible, and I appreciate the extra sweet tea too because it's about to go down.
Yeah, for real.
So we took all the names. We made this big bracket. We randomized the bracket. It ended up Tiger Woods was the go-to-goats at the very end, the greatest athlete of all time, if you will, for their sport. You know, with accolades and everything taken into consideration. And so now we want to do this again, right? This is the second year in a row we've had this idea, but this year we want to do something way different. Not just different, but way different. So, Dave, that comes to you.
So, where we're at now, since we broke this down about 3-4 weeks ago, are for sure brackets, which I've got 4 of them written down, so I guess then we're done, actually. We've got video games. We've got logos. Sports logos. We've got sports movies. The video games are also sports video games. Everything around this is going to be centralized around sports. So sports video games, which, I mean, golly, you could do 64 just with sports video games. And that would more than likely go up against movies. So your final 4 there would be
one movie, one
movie, one video game. And then you would have logos and jerseys. Now, do logos and jerseys, do they clash too much? Because with the jersey, you have to have the logo.
Not necessarily. I think they're still two separate things. Like the Titans logo is way cooler than the baby blue jersey. Let's be real.
Ooh. How do you feel about that?
I love the color baby blue, and I love the two-tone blue.
You're wearing it right now, so I had to hate on it.
Well, what is that, fuchsia you're wearing today? That's a terrible color.
All right, just so everybody knows, on Wednesdays we wear pink.
Oh, really? You're the only person I see in pink. Are you just talking about the managers?
Have we seen the movie Mean Girls? Y'all. On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Oh, okay.
I was just about to say, do I look like? But we did a whole 40 minutes on Taylor Swift.
Of all people, you cannot hate.
I'll wear pink next week.
Honestly,
if you wear pink, I'll wear pink.
I wear pink every Wednesday.
Okay.
It is since my working at the restaurant chain I worked at before this in Atlanta. I had a lot of girls there, and it became a thing. Like every Wednesday I wore a pink polo, and we just, the Mean Girls quotes, and we'd have fun with that I kept doing it.
And is your earpiece, is that red or pink?
It is red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but red is my favorite color. So.
Remember, everyone deployed. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're looking at video games. So logos and jerseys, how are we feeling about that?
I think that's good. The jerseys thing is going to be tough to narrow down, but that's what this is for.
I like it. I think it works out well because, you can obviously know what team a jersey is just by the colors, because you've seen it so many times. You don't need a logo on there to be like, oh, that's a Miami Heat jersey.
Well, and this is of all time too. So this could be like the Cooperstown Classic Braves jersey and the Houston Oilers logo. Those are definitely going to be in there, by the way.
What about this? What if we changed it and we did current jerseys of all four major sports versus retro jerseys of all four major sports, college football included?
And take out logos?
Yeah, I think that's actually good. But man,
Can we do logo / jersey then? Because Houston Oilers, man.
But is that fair?
My favorite logo.
Because
I've got about 10 other possible brackets down here.
Yeah. Because people just automatically go to nostalgia and those things. So I'm not sure that it would be fair when it came up to like maybe these jerseys are nicer than the old ones, but we're the nostalgia in our heads is automatically going to go, man, nah, the old school Braves jerseys were the best. Even though
they were.
Even though there's some new jerseys today that are just great, like the Padres City Connects, the best jerseys in baseball.
See, I disagree there. I don't like them that much.
They're terrible.
Okay, good. But around when I'm looking on baseball group pages and stuff like that, a lot of people do like those San Diego City Connect jerseys, and if man, I really feel bad for Baltimore right now, because if what has been leaked that's going to be the Baltimore Orioles City Connect, that made Great Britain's World Baseball Classic jerseys look good. and if you've got a brand like the Baltimore Orioles, the Oakland, I don't care. If you've got a Major League Baseball brand, you got to do better, man. There's a reason why these are special jerseys that you wear once a week or whatever. They need to be good looking. I don't want to just see a black jersey with white lettering that says Baltimore and some random
putting logos
font.
and jerseys together. So we need a fourth bracket,
So logos and jerseys, will we specify this is just a logo and this is a jersey?
I don't think it would matter, because if you just say Houston Oilers, it's Houston Oilers.
Yeah. All right.
Jerseys and logos.
The greatest aesthetics.
Yeah.
Sports aesthetics, if you will.
We might be confusing
people.
Yeah, see, I don't know. See, this is why we do this.
Can our fourth little wing be playoff setup? We all gone off that World Cup versus March Madness.
But we're not going to have enough to fill out a full 16.
Are we sure?
Yeah, I'm not going to be talking about Korean baseball compared to.
It could be cool.
It could be.
WrestleMania versus the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Ooh,
that's a tough one.
When you do the social media impressions in the build-up,
I don't know.
All right.
And sometimes the script for WrestleMania seems less scripted than the one going to the Super Bowl.
Oh no! Here we go.
We're putting those together.
Why don't we just make the last 16 the script writers, which script writers
the best scripted game ever.
Are the best.
Oh
my goodness. So some of the other ones that we got to kind of help us keep going here, we could do mascots. We could do tailgate food. But so the thing is, we've got video games and movies on one side of the bracket, right? So we've got to have something that goes along that can't, because
what about stadiums?
Stadiums, I think, would be a great one, and I've got that one written down here, because one of the things where Kyle's coming from too, with the nostalgia will trump the current almost 90% of the time, especially with the group of people that we have voting on this.
That's true.
Not just our group here, but the group that we put this out in, and that's where we actually get our votes so we can keep track of everything. Last year, you would have gymnasts, you know what I mean? Like, you would have gymnasts who did great things, but because the people didn't really know about them and they're only seeing the stat or slash line, and then you compare them with someone who is really not even in the top 15 of their own personal sport, and they still end up winning. So sometimes you don't want to set it up for failure in a sense, or set it up to where
blowout. It's an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, you put those. You take the 1998 Arizona Diamondbacks jerseys with the purple sleeves. You know what I mean? Like, those are going to be tough to beat.
On the Colorado Rockies jerseys, the old ones in the 90s.
There you go.
So nice. So, man, that's what makes it so much tougher, man. Like, the nostalgia is always gonna trump, man. Just thinking, like, even like the old Cincinnati red pinstripe jerseys, or the old gray jerseys that they had sleeveless with the black undershirts, like the Barry Larkin days. Who, by the way, one of the greatest shortstop of all time, who the AI didn't put on the Mount Rushmore.
He didn't, but I mean, you look at the other four that he had there, and that, you know, the conversation always gets up or surrounds Derek Jeter, you know, where a lot of people will say he's overrated. Some people, you know, say that he deserves to be where he's enshrined at. In my opinion, you know, growing up with Derek Jeter is like, I didn't like the Yankees, but
there's respect there.
Oh, there's respect there. I mean, the guy spelled his name with his number.
It was hard not to want to be him. Like, as a kid growing up, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to turn 2 like Jeter.
Yeah. No, I mean 100% there. But Barry Larkin was, if you're asking me where I rank my childhood shortstops, I got Barry Larkin ahead of Derek Jeter. But I would also see, this is where it gets into difference of Mount Rushmores and GOATs and your favorite players, because I would take Rafael Furcal almost every shortstop, because he was the brave shortstop, and I loved the way that he played the game. I loved switch hitters because of Chipper. So the way that Rafi played the game, man, he was one of my favorite. Like, I would have Javi Lopez on my top 4 catchers of all time, but not on my Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I liked him, but I know that he wasn't one of the best to ever do it.
It's got to be Nomar Garciaparra off name alone.
Oh, off name alone? Could you imagine Nomar Garciaparra today in the age of the pitch clock?
Oh,
that would be tough, man. That would be tough. He did a lot of readjusting there. So I think that I'm cool with video games and movies on one side of the bracket, and then on the other side, we're going to be looking at jerseys and stadiums. Everyone cool with that? I'm going to get over here and check out some of our, see if we got any messages coming in on this, and it doesn't look like we do, but 850-215-6290 is the number to text. Professor Plum says, could the marketing department come up with a more hideous-looking uniform? I'm wondering if he's talking about the Baltimore Orioles there.
On here, for you've got possible or future brackets, on here you have traditions. What was your...
I think it's
what were we talking about with there?
I think we were more along the lines there of like a college football tradition, like
the jump around
Osceola,
in Wisconsin.
jump around in Wisconsin, Chief Osceola planting the spear in the middle of the field at Doak. Just, you know, the champions walk at Alabama. Like, there's just, you know, those traditions, which that would take a lot of research. And I think the whole goal here is if we can do this, because we've got May, we've got June, and we've got July of kind of, you know, baseball's going to be the only thing running in June and July.
We do need.
Yeah, well, maybe not every month, because it takes a long time to.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to have to sort through so many.
Yeah, well, not just that. We get them started, and then it's not like you just put them out there and vote. You gotta tease them and just do a little bit out of a time.
The traditions, that'd be cool, but like you almost need everyone to write in and be like, hey, what's your tradition you remember? Because like mine's a weird one. As a Bears fan, one of my favorite football traditions is the Green Bay Packers using local kids' bikes to bike from the Don Hudson Center to Lambeau Field, and you got kids running alongside of them. But like my dad put my bike in the car and made us all go up there every training camp.
Yeah.
But it was the coolest thing. You know, like Aaron Rodgers did it back in the day. That was how we
Which
met.
player rode your bike?
Reggie White.
What kind? No.
Yes.
And what kind of a bike? How big was your bike?
It was, I was probably in 3rd grade. It was pink. It had My Little Ponies all over it. I've got a great photo. My dad I'll get it from my dad.
And the rims were still okay
Terrell
after
Buckley rode my brother's bike.
Go Knowles.
And my dad never brought my sister's bike. She wasn't really a football at all kind of sports things, but yeah.
That is
Terrell
pretty
Buckley
cool.
remains my brother's favorite player to this day because of that.
I mean, and where does Reggie White well, I guess because you're more of a Bears than a Packers fan, but come on, the Reverend.
It was cool. It was great.
Yeah, no
he was a
doubt
great
about
dude,
it.
and it was
Pride
hilarious.
of
Like
Chattanooga.
I swear he picked my bike because it was going to be so funny.
Yeah, 100%. I love that, man. And we're going to keep the conversation rolling. I would say that we can go ahead and take this next segment and start building out the bracket. So, guys, on Facebook, you can comment there, and we'll bring them into, we'll put them on the bracket, or we'll put them in the possibles of the bracket. We're looking for video games, sports video games, sports movies. We're going to do sports jerseys of any team that we think is one of the best, and there's a lot to sort through there, and there's a lot to sort through with stadiums, man, and it's going to be wild. 850-215-6290. Not taking calls today, but just text. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we return, we're going to keep it rolling with the GOAT of GOATs conversation. This is the Afternoon Underdogs right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
It's the Atlanta Braves versus the Boston Red Sox. Game 2. Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, Ronald Acuna, and the Atlanta Braves bats are on fire. And tonight, it's exciting interleague play live from Truist Park. Coverage starts at 6, right after the Afternoon Underdogs on the Panhandle's home for the Atlanta Braves.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Some sun the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour and look for it to be 83. Tonight, there will be partly cloudy skies with the temperature reaching 72. Partly cloudy much of the day, but with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 81. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we want to help you celebrate Mom this month. From mother's rings with her children's birthstones to unique one-of-a-kind pieces just like her. This month is meant to celebrate Mom. From our large selection of beautiful stackable bands to simple, elegant diamond necklaces that will bring a sparkle to her eye. This Mother's Day, show Mom how much you love her with a beautiful piece of jewelry that's as unique as she is. From Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
It is a walk-off home run for Sean Murphy into the Braves bullpen.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdog.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 Panama City, 102.1 in Marietta, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. And you can also get the app. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And just type in ESPN Northwest Florida or 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're out here at Dave & Buster's. We're on the patio, and it looks like we're at Golden Corral or something right now because we've got a buffet.
Snacks on snacks on snacks.
Yeah, snacks on snacks on snacks. Plenty of water, sweet teas, and to go around. So we just left off talking about our go-to-goes. We've narrowed it down. We're going to be doing video games, or sports video games, sports movies, sports jerseys, and sports stadiums. Also a reminder that right after the Afternoon Underdogs this evening at 6 o'clock, the coverage will start for the Atlanta Braves and the Red Sox. The Braves absolutely handled the Red Sox last night. Hopefully they can get another dose of that this evening as well. I felt like it almost seemed like Boston just left the MLB team there in Boston and brought the Worcester Red Sox, their AAA affiliate. But we'll see how all of that plays out tonight. 6:24, the first pitch. All right. video games. We're going to go ahead and start working on our brackets here. And again, you can text on Facebook. You can also text us at our number here, 850-215-6290. So what if we just kind of do a round table and throw out a video game and we'll rank them later, because there's no way we're going to be able to rank them on the air.
Okay, so let's get the obvious ones out of the way, okay? Let's go. Madden's got to come off the board here.
Got it.
Madden's going down, and even though, like, obviously you said we're not doing seeding till later, might end up being a top seed kind of thing.
Since we're doing that, does NFL 2K get any play in this? Since
I think it should.
That was one that I put on there because,
They're
like,
different.
nostalgic-wise.
So make a separate list of, like, perhaps play-ins.
Oh yeah, that's
will.
Write down the
I've got 1 through 16 here, so you write. Yeah,
I'm just going to be writing them all down, and then we can whittle them down later.
Yeah, because there's going to be some.
I have a couple listed. Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 listed.
We've been doing our homework over on this side. Too.
Oh yeah,
wow! Look at you,
I've
adult.
got
a shoot from the hip type of guy.
I've got like NFL Blitz.
Okay,
that's
so we're gonna have 16 NFL games by the time it's all.
See,
said.
I went away from NFL games
I've got-
because I knew you guys would go for them.
I've got NBA Street.
Yeah, that's
Okay, that's got to go.
we talked about that one.
NFL Street.
NFL Street.
What if we just did the streets as
Streets is one?
The street
well,
games.
it depends on how many we get.
Well,
A
'cause you
street
had the
play-in,
FIFA
dude.
Street, you had the FIFA Street, you had the NBA Street, you had.
NFL Street.
I don't think NHL ever did
We're
street,
gonna
but
work
man,
this
that's a
out.
missed opportunity
And-
right
yeah,
there, because
yeah.
they actually play street hockey.
And then there's then I wrote down MLB Slugfest.
Slugfest could be
with
in
Blitz.
the street.
Like, so the Blitzes should all have like NHL hits, NFL Blitz, all of those should be like in their own little play-in.
I think
or whatever.
you could just have those games in like a bracket of their one.
And what was the I'm blanking on the name. I didn't write it down. I'm blanking on the name that was on the PC back in the day with Pablo
Backyard
Sanchez.
baseball.
Backyard baseball.
Pete Lillard.
There you
You
go.
were waiting to say that. You stole us.
Listen to me. I'm going to go ahead and lobby that this makes the bracket.
What, backyard baseball?
Automatically
Backyard
makes it.
baseball, it could start
Look
out
at
as
how
number
excited
one.
he is. Of course it is.
Yeah.
All right, so
Probably
let's go
number
on.
one right
Mine
there.
that you didn't say, I've got the Mike Tyson knockout,
Okay.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which absolutely should be a contender. Because
Make sure y'all are writing these down, because I'm not catching everything.
Well, I've got-
that
yeah, I've got
y'all
my
are
list.
saying.
I got mine written down as well.
The Super Nintendo version of WrestleMania, it was just WrestleMania.
Yep.
Yeah, Kyle knows where I'm at.
I know exactly where you're at on
Yeah.
that one. It was,
So I went away from all of my NFL games. I'm not going to touch them because you guys know them all.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've got a ton of them right here. Backyard baseball, they're just back to that.
You just made him so happy. Like, you just brought them all the way back.
Well, the best part about it is you could have named, who else you had, like Kenny Kawaguchi and all of those guys. Man, I loved those games.
Pete Wheeler.
But Pete Wheeler, no doubt about it.
Keisha.
But I mean, Pablo Sanchez.
But it's Pablo Sanchez,
Yeah,
man.
Okay,
golly,
I
that's
have
so
a weird
great.
question.
Yeah.
Only because I know how much people love it, and technically it's a sports video game. Can we say Golden Tee?
Oh, like
The bar one?
that's-
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's a video game.
And it's golf.
and it's very popular in the bars. I think absolutely it should
There
at
we
least
go. It should
be.
be in the running.
It
Yeah,
should
but
be in the running.
It does not even hold up to PGA Tiger Woods, especially on EA Sports.
And
no doubt about it.
we could also, talking about sports, we could also do Wii Sports.
I think Wii
Ooh,
Sports
Wii
has
Sports
to.
should be on there. Like
yeah.
Wii Bowling, that was great.
Wii Sports, it's I would say automatically on the list.
Yeah, Wii Sports. So we're looking at 7 right here, and that's without me. I know that I've missed a couple of them over here, because Madden as a franchise,
Yep.
NFL 2K, the Blitz,
Series,
NFL
yeah.
Blitz, NHL Hit Slugfest. That's going to be a play-in, so that'll work its way into which game.
NBA 2K.
Yeah,
So yeah,
of course.
NBA 2K's got to be in,
And then
So-
NBA Live too. But I think with Madden and NFL 2K, right? Like, that's a play-in.
right.
With NBA Live and NBA 2K,
I like
that's
that.
a play-in.
I think we've got to add FIFA.
Oh yeah, FIFA's
And-
one of the greatest video
I know,
games of
like
all
we just
time.
hadn't said it yet.
MLB
absolutely.
The Show.
MLB The Show's
Oh,
got to
yeah.
be in there, and then
MVP baseball.
MVP baseball. I mean, so I'm just writing stuff down now. I had 1 through 16 listed, but it's
That's
not
why I was like,
It's so hard to do like off the
I
rip.
need
We just
more
gotta,
paper. I should have
yeah,
brought a
we'll just
notepad.
cluster them and then we'll pick.
So I've got another idea for another play-in here.
Oh, Okay.
Right? Okay, so your extreme sports play-in brackets here, right? That we could do your Matt Hoffman BMX, your Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
Yeah.
your Tony Hawk Underground, and then your Kelly Slater Pro Surfer.
I like those.
Like that's 4 like of the most popular like extreme sports.
Was it
video
Matt
games I could
Hoffman or
think of.
Dave Mirra?
Dave Mirra, you're right. Dave Mirra BMX. I don't know why I said Matt Hoffman.
I mean, he was a big time.
Yeah, he was,
BMXer
but
back when we were
Dave
growing
Mirra
up.
was the one with the video game.
Yeah.
It was his name on it. That was a big deal.
I mean, granted, I'm not throwing it in here because it's not that great, but I don't know if anyone else remembers it. I think it was N64, but Cool Borders, the snowboarding game.
Yes.
Loved me some Cool Borders.
I don't remember. We'll see how we can get that one in. But was that the one where you would get dropped in from the helicopter?
You could, yeah. Yeah, that was great. And of course, I was a skier and everything. I didn't like the snowboarding as much, but. Yeah, that was a great game.
Man, if anyone could read my paper right now, what all of it,
that's a mess,
and be able to deduce what's actually going on here, because I've got on one side of the paper, it's numbered 1 through 7, and then I'm just like, okay, it's kind of like my brain whenever I'm doing the show. It's every single place that you can imagine. AG coming in with King Griffey Jr. baseball, James Kelly with NBA Jam, and he was, he brought up on April 12th when we were doing this last time, he brought up wrestling entrances, theme songs, and all of that good stuff. So NBA Jam is definitely one
It'll be a wrestling bracket of its own someday.
Kind of. Yeah, no doubt.
We could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, we could.
And some of the newer wrestling games are a lot of, not only are they're good with the controls, you know what I mean? The mechanics of the game feel great, but then the graphics as well are not, they're not way out of line as well. Drew, you got another one over there? You look like you're Googling.
Yeah, I was just looking at a couple different ones, and just trying to see what else is there. Do we? Mario had a couple of the of sports games and stuff like that. Do we throw them in? But it was like Mario Kart, maybe. Is that like a sport? Would you?
I don't know if I would consider that one a sport. I think that some of the NASCAR games need to have a play-in of their own, though. I definitely think that some of the NASCAR games, because NASCAR Heat, what was it? That was back in the day. That one's
NASCAR.
NASCAR's got to get in there.
The Forza games are really fun. If you could really get into them, man, they're
maybe we just need to. Maybe we just need to do a full 64 sports
this
video.
Is going to be football games, basketball. Jeez.
Well, because if you think about it, man, it would be easy to do 64 of pretty much all of these.
That's a later date, okay? We got some games, okay?
No doubt. I'm not even able to finish writing some of my thoughts over here, so good luck figuring out how we're going to do this. NCAA college football, that's an absolute. It might be the number 1 seed overall, and here's why, too, because it's been so long since the last one was 2014, right?
Yeah, well, 2013, technically, because it was the 2014 game, so.
Yeah, right.
That game's coming back out next year, and this is so, maybe irrational for an adult man with 2 children, but, I am facing so much anxiety about this game coming out next year because EA has been terrible in recent years with their video game production and everything. The Star Wars games are horrible. Madden is just copy and paste every year. And what's rough about it, man, is I'm so afraid that they are going to just everything is freemium, if you will. The game's free, but you have to pay for so many different experiences nowadays. And I want them literally just do the old video game. And just literally, if you do copy and paste on the old NCAA games, nobody's going to be mad with updated graphics and uniforms.
But they're more than likely not going to do that because it's going to be a copy and paste of a newer Madden. Here's the thing.
That's what.
So after the old, NCAA was out for a long time, and they weren't making any new franchises. There was a group who was making mods for the versions on PC and stuff like that. And apparently, EA Sports has brought some of those modifiers in to work on the new game. And if that's the case, that would be great. And I would like an updated version. And kind of to your point of the premium stuff and all of that good stuff, I don't play as much Ultimate or Madden Ultimate Team as much as I'm in the franchise type of stuff. So it is one of those things that kind of waters down the game because Ultimate Team could be so fun, but if you've got if you're not gonna have a fair shot because someone else just spent $200-300 on buying all the cards to make their team as possibly good as it could be, then that takes away the fun. It should be paid teams are in their own separate league versus. And you could have mixed tournaments as well, but versus people who authentically build their own squads.
So, only because, again, going back, I'm trying to go back in my head. And I don't know if anybody had it, where you had the little football field or the hockey guys with the magnets under the bottom. This is what this reminds me of, but I have to include it only because of Thursday Night Football, Tech Mobile.
Yeah,
Tech Mobile has to be there.
The original.
Right,
do we put Pong on there?
Stop.
It's a sport.
I mean, Pong was there is a Pong game here at Dave & Buster's.
We'll just put Atari on there.
Man, there's so many that I know we're not mentioning right now.
Well, that's the fun part of kind of doing it live and then revisiting it later.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour, man, like those were like the peak days of golf video games. And we talked about last week. I don't think it was on the air, but we were talking with like Ryan Mulvey and everything. You were at least about this, like golf video games now, and there's two different big ones right now, and it's you
got EA Sports Road to the Masters and PGA Tour 2K23.
Right. So there's so many different directions you could go with golf video games, but I just don't feel like anything ever touched the old Tiger Woods.
Especially with the being able to, you hit A or X, whatever system you're on, you know what I mean? You power up, get that red circle as big as you possibly can, and then the Tiger Vision as well. Like, man, the heartbeat whenever you would land it close to the pin. Oh, yeah, man. Not much can beat that, but it is time for our hard break here. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to keep it rolling with, no, we're not. We're going to take a little break from it because it's Wednesday. What do we do, Amanda, on Wednesdays?
We come to Dave & Buster's to visit me for half-price games.
And at 5 o'clock, we do Would You Rather. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is already your home for the most live and local sports talk. And now we're taking...
Oh, he got all of that one.
The Inside Drive. Ryan Mulvey, middays, 11 to 1 inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. The latest reactions to the biggest stories happening right now. Plus, interviews, sports betting, and your calls.
You got to be pleased with that.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Some sun the remainder of the day with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 9 miles per hour and look for it to be 83. Tonight, there will be partly cloudy skies with the temperature reaching 72. Partly cloudy much of the day, but with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow with a high of 81. This weather is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The road is yours this summer in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by and check out the Bill Bird Kia SUV family that is built for all in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 3.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort and safety and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust. Offer from Kia Finance for the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento with $22.22 per month per 1,000 finance at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/23.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John, Paulette Hesse, ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 2023 season of Atlanta Braves baseball is on, and this squad is fired up to make a run at a 6th straight division crown.
High fly, deep to left, forget about it for Austin Riley. A blast to left.
Tonight, the interleague battles continue from Truist Park in Atlanta as the Braves take on the Boston Red Sox for a quick 2-game set.
Coverage starts tonight at 6 on your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Time to let the big dogs eat.
How about that answer by Georgia? To the end zone, touchdown, Georgia!
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs, and what we like to do on Wednesdays is when we're out here at Dave & Buster's is play a little Would You Rather. The Atlanta Braves will be playing the Boston Red Sox. Coverage will be starting for that tonight. Right after our show at 6 o'clock, the first pitch is going to be at 6 20. Also want to remind you guys about our 3 local shows that we have here. Obviously, the Afternoon Underdogs being one of those from 4 to 6 on Mondays through Fridays. But you also have the Coach James Hell Show. That's every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then our great new show as well with the Inside Drive, Ryan Mulvey, Jay Henley. They do theirs Monday through Friday from 11 to 1. The only show, they brought it up today as well, the only show on our air that's, it gets 2 parts of the day. It gets the morning and it gets the noon. So they change it up, man. They switch it up once that noon hits. But it's a great show. Coach James Hale show, a lot of local, a lot of high school and college football. And then for the Inside Drive, it's a lot like this show where you never know what you're going to get. They're going to be talking about all kind of sports. Ryan Mulvey, the host, is the general manager at Bay Point Golf, and Jay Henley is the golf instructor over there. So you get a lot of golf there as well and sports betting. They had Keith Fleming on with them today, as they do every Wednesday. A lot of great stuff, man. We've got 3 local shows. I don't know another station around here in sports, whatever it is, that actually has 3 local shows. I really don't know if anyone's got any real local shows these days, because everyone's doing the voice tracking and all of that stuff, talking about being in Texas and whatnot, and we try to keep it as localized as possible. But also, we love to talk about professional sports, and one of the beautiful parts about Panama City and our sports fan bases here is we've got our bases on each side, right? With the Air Force base and the Navy base. And what does that do? Brings in a lot of different people. And what does that mean? That means that we've got a lot of fans of different teams around here, which makes doing this afternoon show and being able to talk about all the pro sports, all the college sports, and just, it doesn't matter what team you talk about. You could think, man, who's going to care about us talking about Oklahoma or whatever? Next thing you know,
Boomer Sooner.
Yep.
Exactly.
Hey, this is Boomer Sooner Bill.
Well, Chief Keith from the Navy base, big Oklahoma fan, I believe. So, there's
a rapper too.
Yeah. So gotta love that, man, and it definitely makes being able to talk about the professional side of sports to a whole nother level. But a little would you rather. So yesterday we got the breaking news, right? Morgan Wallen's out for 6 weeks. Got to rest his vocal cords.
Yes.
So they replaced him. I think it was after the show. They ended up coming out and saying it's going to be Kenny Chesney. So we're going to start it off with a little would you rather, Morgan Wallen or Kenny Chesney.
To me, this one's super easy. Sorry to steal Miles' line, but for all the new age country fans, this seems like a downgrade. For any real country fan, this is a super upgrade. I am so stoked to see Kenny Chesney.
Did you say he has arrested?
He has to rest his
vocal cords.
He has to rest his vocal cords.
I do love me some Morgan Wallen, but I mean,
Kenny Chesney.
The easy answer is Kenny Chesney. Come on, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Sign me up.
No problem. How do you love Kenny and then you butcher the lyrics? I go back. Well, to quote Kenny Chesney,
the gas station.
I go back to a lovely day when we didn't have to hear Drew on this show.
I love that. And did that go over your head?
Great, man. I can't wait. And I actually haven't seen Kenny Chesney, so I'm super excited.
Have you seen him live?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, now I wish I had tickets. Like I only wanted to go for Hardy. Now I'm like, oh man, Hardy and Kenny Chesney. I wish I had tickets to this now.
See, I do like that they're doing at least like the Thursday only ticket if you do just want to see Hardy.
Yeah.
I wish there was an option to kind of split it up, to buy a festival ticket and you're like, man, I'm really only going for Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to buy the tickets in general anyway.